Hi, my name is Darrell, and I love to talk about current affairs that are happening on the African continent. And today, ah, I'm going to talk about Rwanda and DRC. Now, these two have been in the news for a very long time as a conflict between the two countries because of the allegations that Rwanda is actually supporting the M23 to fight the government in Kinshasa. Now, this time, these two countries are part of a community economics bloc of the East African states. That's the community they're part of, which comprises a couple of countries, including Angola, Equatorial Guinea, Burundi, and so many others. And these two, this time things just went wrong when they were at a summit in Malepo in Equatorial Guinea, where this summit was happening. And Rwanda expected that the rotational presidency is now finally coming to Rwanda, and it didn't happen. Wow. And according to Rwanda, they believe that it is the influence of DRC that made it not to get this presidency, as it's supposed to be by the treaty, according to the treaty of all these African countries. So what happened is that they placed a diktat on Rwanda, saying that, according to Rwanda, they allege that DRC influenced the other countries that you cannot place a presidency on the country that is actually supporting rebel activities, stealing mines and killing people, and financing M23 against a member state of the same bloc, or of the same community in Kinshasa, which is DRC Congo. Now, for a long time, DRC has been trying to work around a way of causing maybe a campaign, decampaigning Rwanda's campaign or image across the globe, because Rwanda for a long time has been positioning itself as a tourist destination and also a very peaceful country, an economic boom, the Singapore of Africa, and all these things that people like to call Rwanda. And that's why they wrote to teams like PSG, wrote to teams like Bayern Munich, Arsenal, to stop the financing or taking on sponsorships from Visit Rwanda or Rwanda, because they feel like at the end of the day, it is Rwanda that gains economically, and this money actually finances the M23. That is according to them. And they were calling upon world leaders to isolate Rwanda until they stop supporting M23, according to their allegations. That is what DRC has been big. So they feel that even them to lose this presidency that was supposed to come to them as a mandate did not happen. And then they came out and said, Rwanda came out and withdrew its membership. It said, we're going to withdraw our membership because of, one, that the treaty has been violated, and they feel like there's an influence of DRC in all this. And again, Kigali expects all the member states of the ECCAS to understand the situation that is happening in Congo, the eastern part of Congo, and handle these things diplomatically rather than them siding with one person and starting to isolate Rwanda as it is. Tough times, but I don't know where this will end. But one thing I know is that Rwanda will remain part of the East African community, which DRC is part of as well. And there was a conversation before that DRC wants to withdraw its membership from the East African community. I don't know how true that was or how far it is, but there was that feeling that the East African community is not acting on Rwanda, despite what they would call their evidence that Kigali is supporting M23 to destabilize Rwanda, the other side. And if you remember very well, there was an East African standby force that was placed in Congo to kind of quell the situation. After 6 months, Felix Tshisekedi, who's the president of DRC, decided to expel. Actually, decided not to renew the mandate or the work that the East African Defense Forces was doing in Congo, and say, let them pack out and go. And then invited in Angola and the SADC region army into DRC, because again, DRC is part of SADC as well as part of East African community. So there was that rumor that DRC wants to withdraw from the East African community. Till today, nothing has ever come up like that. but there was that conversation before that was had. So the way that Rwanda has withdrawn from ECCAS, and now the only community they are part of that they share mutually with DRC is the African Union and the East African Community. Oof. What does Rwanda have to lose by leaving this community? You can share with me in the comments.